What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the after credit scene. We are talking all things episode 4 of Secret Invasion. There was a whole lot of twists and turns and a ton of things to talk about. But first, please like and subscribe to the channel. Share this thing all across the multiverse and help us get to 200 subscribers and well beyond. So let's get right into it. There were some big beats in this episode, and admittedly, I'm left with a few more questions than answers. I'm going to start right off with two of the main questions I have, and then we'll get into the beats of the episode. First off, the reveal that Rhodey has been a Skrull for quite a while. A lot of people saw coming, especially given the scene at the end of episode 3 was kind of a reveal that Rhodey, or a version of Rhodey, that being a Skrull, had been working with Gravik for quite some time, and we got confirmation of that. But which Skrull is Rhodey? It seemed to me that the Skrull that we saw in episode 4, getting out of the shower, seemed to be a woman, or a female Skrull, and it felt like we were supposed to know who that was. My first thought was Gaia, but seeing Gaia playing both sides against the middle again, something was off. Maybe you can tell me who that was. Then at the end, when the credits started rolling, it said special guest star Colby Smolder. Maybe it said that the last several episodes. I don't recall it saying that. My first thought was, where was Maria Hill in this episode? Was it in the flashback? Was it on TV? Was it something that we were supposed to know? That was some kind of giveaway, that maybe Maria Hill has also been a Skrull. I'm not sure. Maybe those two things were connected. Maybe I missed something. I'm not necessarily saying those things are connected, but maybe you guys can help me out as to what was going on with those two scenes, or those two things in particular, because they seemed important, and I feel like I missed something. The big beats of this episode, starting right off with the fact that Gaia is not dead. I think that was pretty evident. If you'd watched any of the trailers, you knew that there were scenes that she hadn't shown up in yet, that hadn't been seen, and we got that right off the bat with the fact that Gaia had taken some of Dr. Reynolds' memories from her stasis pod and used those to learn how to use the extremis, or use the chamber to imbue herself with extremis. And thereby saved her own life whenever Gravik shot her at the end of episode 3. So we see her come back, we see her reunite with Talos, and then ask Talos, what's his plan for saving the Skrulls? And he has a plan, but it's still not good enough for Gaia. The park scene there by the lake had a lot of endgame feel to it. The conversation between Cap and Sam at a lake, in a grassy area on a bench. Although they were definitely separate scenes, there were trees in the ones at Endgame. It had that feel to it to me, where there was this conversation, this passing of the baton between the two. And certainly at the end of this episode, we see why. But Gaia is not convinced, and she can't go back to Gravik, and she's not totally on board with Talos' plan, so she has to seemingly go off on her own. And this is the first time that you see her show some semblance of support and loyalty to her dad, and also see Talos being loving towards his daughter in a way that felt a little more natural. Beyond that, next we get this flashback of Fury and Priscilla in 2012, where he has just come back from the end of the first Avengers movie, the Battle of New York, and you get some conversation there between the two of them. It was interesting to note all of the green bottles in the bar behind them. That there were lots of interesting moments that made me wonder if some people's theory about there being two Nick Furies working in concert with one another was a legitimate theory. And I think there were several other scenes, particularly the scene that we see after that in their home, when older Fury confronts Priscilla about being told to kill him by Gravik, where he acted a little odd. He's not wearing his wedding band, and he acted a little funny. But he also had Fury's memories. If it was a Skrull, if it was him, then business as usual. But the theory of sometimes Fury's wearing glasses and sometimes he's not. We see him with the earpiece, that he was spying on Priscilla the whole time while she was having her conversation with the Skrull version of Rhodey. And so there's a whole lot there that is still up in the air, and who's playing who. And as far as episodes were concerned, I really felt like this one had a lot of beats in it that were big moments, and were really setting up the final push here. And I really think we're going to get a lot of that final push in episode 5, and a lot of wrap up and a lot of consequences and fallout in episode 6. But it was a really great episode. Like I said, you had the revelation that Guy wasn't dead. You saw how she did that. You had the confrontation between Priscilla and Fury, and I thought the backstory about how she came to possess Priscilla's body and her memories was a really great addition to that character. The character building and the story arcs have been excellent in this show. The fact that they didn't shoot each other, again, was an awesome addition. And even shooting the masks, the masks behind Priscilla, the wall art. Some of you guys may have seen those things. Those images are used a lot in theater to show as an icon for theater. One mask and another mask, a happy mask, a sad mask. This idea that people are playing roles was really well done, and the imagery was really well executed. Beyond that, we got more reveals as we find out the back and forth, the cat and mouse with Fury and Rhodes, where we see the Skrull version of Rhodes get out of the shower and become Rhodey, and then Fury confronts him, and they have this back and forth where we eventually find out that Fury has laced the bourbon that he gave Rhodes with a liquid nanotech tracker, so he can figure out where they're going. And that version of Rhodes threatens Fury with exposing him for shooting Maria Hill, even though we know he didn't do that. And Fury tries to kind of feel out what's going on, but we knew it was a ruse, and so that back and forth was really excellent. With Fury trying to figure out and play a role, and then Rhodes, the Skrull version of Rhodes, kind of being on his heels a little bit. It was this episode was one of the first times we really saw Fury being the Fury that we all know, rather than being this old and dejected and kind of trying to get his groove back, so to speak. Didn't sit well with me, and this version of Fury felt like the one that we've known for quite a while. Beyond that, as we get to kind of the climax of this episode here at the end, we see Gravik's plan come into focus. The president is going to talk to the British government and try to smooth over what's going on. Presumably that the Americans had nothing to do with the attack in Russia, only to find out that Gravik's forces are going to attack the convoy, presenting as Russian forces, to send a message and try to send the world into war, to which Fury and Talos intervene, and Talos is outed as a Skrull in his effort to protect the president, and you get this moment where, whether it plays out or not, we saw Talos do what he tried to talk to Guy about, which was sacrifice himself and show them who they really are, not just physically, which he ended up doing, but inside. I thought those were really great moments where it's not about what we look like on the outside, it's about who we are on the inside. And that conversation was really great, and Talos got his moment to actually do that and stand up for something. And we got to see Gravik in his Super Skrull form. Now, how much of his Super Skrull form is actually there? We've seen Extremis. We saw his Groot ability in this one, which, if you're looking for parallels from the comics, the Human Torch ability would be the Extremis ability, and the The Groot ability would be the Mr. Fantastic stretch ability. And so we got to see both of those. Now, whether he already has his Cull Obsidian DNA, which I guess would make him stronger or more non-permeable, or make him more rock-like, stone-like, and whether we see the other iterations, the Frost Beast, where he can freeze things. We haven't seen those yet. I'm assuming we will see those things, but we haven't yet. But what we did see was plenty. Gravik poses as a soldier and kills Talos in front of Fury. And so that is now 2 people, presumably, and I would assume at least this one is going to stick. If the Kobe Smolder death is fake, then I would assume that this death with Talos may be real. It certainly would push Emilia Clarke's character, Gaia's character, forward in living up to her father's legacy, and it might rally some Skrulls around Talos's point of view. Same with Fury. He's now lost 2 people. Which means he is going to be even more bitter and even more into the battle and have some higher stakes there. He drives off with the president, and we end up with a shot of Talos on the ground. Presumably, I would imagine that final shot is to show you, yes, he is indeed dead, and it's an excellent juxtaposition between the death at the end of episode 3. Where Gaia gets up at the end of episode 4, which means the beginning of episode 5 may very well start off with the death of Talos, and we get to see that no, he is dead. I think that would be an excellent place to start that episode to show the stakes of what is going on. So I'm curious what you guys think about it. Again, if you can help me out, maybe I missed something with the reveal of who Skrull Rhodey actually is. Is it a Skrull that we know already, or is it just letting you know, like, yeah, he's a Skrull, and to kind of prolong the point of how long has he been a Skrull? And I'm assuming with these flashbacks we're going to find some of that out. But if we're supposed to know who that is already, let me know in the comments, because I missed that. And again, was Maria Hill in this episode somewhere, or was that something I missed as well? That either she was in this episode and I missed it, or that her name has always been the first thing that's come up as a guest star, just because they're showing the credits of the whole Secret Invasion show. I tend to think that maybe she was in there somewhere, or there's something I missed, but I'd have to go back and find that out, and maybe I can throw a TikTok in somewhere and correct myself in the future. Tell us what you guys think. As always, please like and subscribe to the channel and share this thing all across the multiverse. And then check out some of our other content. You know, we got a lot of things you can sink your teeth into. And as always, when the next one drops, we'll catch you right back here. Later, guys.